Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Howdy, y'all. Brett O'Loughlin here. Another way of saying it is good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Anywhere in the world you are, the USA Global TV and Radio Network is available live to you. We're also in participation today with the E360 TV network and also today with Instagram Live. So as the USA Global TV and Radio Network is expanding this year, we've had over 1 million views on YouTube. Congratulations to Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck for that. A lot of things are going on, and I'm privy to several new things coming up in 2024 that is going to make it even better. But let's get back to what we're talking about here. We're getting ready to transition into 2024, and let me go ahead and bring up my slides so that I get ready for that. Okay, journey to optimal health. And my disclaimer is that I'm not a doctor, never have been, never associated with the pharmaceutical field. I fell in love with chemistry back in high school. And today I got a degree in it, never got a chance to practice chemistry as a chemist. And maybe not so true. I worked for a PPG chemical division my last year and a half of college. And I actually was almost as a chemist working projects in the plant on my own. So yeah, I kind of was a chemist. Regardless, I use my chemistry background nowadays to research the human body at the cellular level, chemically speaking. I look for cause and effect relationships. Treat a cause, fix a problem. Treat symptoms, and you'll always be treating symptoms. I believe our health and wellness is our own responsibility. Our health is those things that our status of what diseases or whatever we have or don't have in our body. And our wellness is what are our daily habits that we're doing that we change over time that improve or maintain that level of health. This presentation, as always, is primarily for education. First awareness, then education, then action. But it gives you the information needed to talk to your doctor or your primary nutritionist or whoever is helping you make those health decisions. So let's go ahead and move on in. We started out our optimal health topics for our journey into 2024. And it's set up this way. Next week, I will not be here. I'm taking a vacation between Christmas and New Year's. But in order to get started, and we're going to finish this up today, we really need a good mindset. If we don't know where we're going, any road will get you there. We'll talk about that later. But you need this part of your brain, your subconscious, you need that aligned with everything. So we've already talked about the subconscious mind and aligning it with goals the first couple sessions. We then kind of bounced in almost initially into mental and emotional health, which we'll be talking about today, looking at what does that do to us. And then hopefully, I'm pretty sure we'll get into sleep. I'm not sure we're going to be able to finish it. But other topics that will be coming up next year as part of this health journey is exercise, fitness, stress management, some aspects of body health, our expectations, diet, nutrition, our gut, our brain, our heart, our other aspects of our system, our body. We're talking about fat and weight management, our immune system, and healthy aging. So getting back into things, we left off last time trying to assess where are we at emotionally and mentally. Now, some of us kind of say, well, it's emotion and mental, that's the same thing. And not really. When we think about mental health, and we'll be looking at this thing in a little bit more detail, it's how we're not talking about the physical health of the brain. We're talking about how effective are the decisions that we make. In other words, our cognitive ability to judge things and to make a decision. That's our mental health. Our emotional health is our feelings, those things that go along with it. So there's two different aspects of that. And we're not talking about the chemical makeup of the brain. We're talking about the brain's ability to perform. So as we go through every single day, things happen, adds extra stress. Some days we have more sadness, more anger, more anxiety, and they're common. That's just part of being a human being. It's who we are, and it's not a sign of mental illness. No, there's a lot of ways of assessing mental illness. Just go to Google it, YouTube, and there are lots and lots of tests out there. I'm going to say the vast majority of us do not have a mental health issue or even emotional health issue. We have things that occur to us, that happen to us, that maybe we're not prepared for, a death in the family, loss of a job, uh, all sorts of things happen. And it's not necessarily the stress, it's how we accept it. So as I looked forward to these things, how do I look at my mental health? Well, a lot of it's in our appearance. If we're not shaving and we always have shaved and all of a sudden we're not, if we're wearing the same clothes every day, just there's lots of things that can give us an assessment of our mental health. Now, when I look at what is the difference, I briefly mentioned it in the last slide, our mental health versus our emotional health, there's psychological differences. When we talk about our mental health, we're talking about our decision making, our ability to use our brain to get us through difficult situations, our overall well-being as a human being. But the emotional aspect of that is our feelings, our mood, and how we manage those. Very, very interesting aspect between the two of them. And just like our mental health, there's a lot of things out there that can help us assess where we are today. And that's important. If you're going to make a change, where are you today in order to know that, hey, that change actually worked, or whatever I did didn't work so well. So if I'm looking at testing for emotional health, same way I did the mental health. You have Google, you have YouTube, lots and lots of things there. But they come down to some simple things. If you were able to say, this is December 2023, June, July of 2023, has my mood changed very much? My feelings, was there something in there? Has something happened that we're now suffering a little bit for that we didn't have before? If we know what it is, okay, fine, that's life. But it's also a little tick on the emotional aspect of things, and most people will get through it. It's just a matter of getting a little bit more time under our belt to allow that to go over. So, but the stress levels, if they've changed, how are you coping? Is it working? A lot of stress can be brought on inside the brain by inflammation caused by nutritional deficiencies, particularly your B1 and B3 vitamins. So if you're really absent of a lot of B vitamins because of your diet, a lot of anxiety can easily be, depression can easily be manifested, at least at the beginning levels. It's not like I haven't had any B vitamins for the last month. No, we're talking about years of being deficient and never ever catching up. But your diet is a major portion of that, and we'll be talking about that in a lot more detail in the future. So if I'm looking at my mental health, we're talking feelings. Am I sadder now? Am I confused? Do I have some fear, guilt? Those things are feelings that we should be aware of. Maybe we're confused and we're not aware of it. Okay, I can understand that one. Fear, if I fear something, I probably am aware of it. Now, sadness, we may think we're fooling other people, but some people can look right straight at us and say, what's wrong? So don't get upset when you think you're fooling someone and you're not. And we have a tendency to, when we have these emotional issues, to withdraw primarily from friends and family because we don't want them to know something, or we don't want them to think they can help us, or whatever it may happen to be. But these are all normal human emotions. Where you're going to see it probably the first is in sleep. And we have a section on sleep I hope to get to today. I'm not sure we'll be able to finish it all, but we're definitely going to get into it. But sleeping, if you have problems going to sleep, especially that first hour or so, that's probably a clue that there's something going on in your life, whether it's mental, whether it's emotional, whether it's dietary, whether there's a lot of things that create problems with sleep. But if you lay down, your head's on the pillow, boom, 10 minutes later, you're out. You're doing well. Now, you may wake up tired and some other things, but that's another animal too. But you're going to sleep is probably your first clue. You can have you can be excessively tired, fatigued, and have difficulty going to sleep. Sometimes you're overwhelmed, irritable, lonely. Again, Google and YouTube have a lot of information out there for self-help, self-testing. So, uh, and again, just because you may test positive on one and negative on another, I think most of us are pretty generally normal human beings, and whatever we have is a temporary setback to our time life continuum. In other words, it's there today, may not be there tomorrow, probably will be there next month. So, getting back to the main question, where are you today? Where are you going? How are you going to get there? Well, I wanted to cover in December, how do we adjust our mindset? Because that's going to be the biggest saboteur of your successful transition and optimal transition into 2024. If we can reset our mindset in December of 2023, we have our normal mental and emotional functions under control, then we have a really, really good start to making changes that will, in fact, work. We talked about how do we self-assess. Well, we talked about many online options, filling questionnaires, ask an expert. Just so much information out there on YouTube. I had a mentor who used to say, and I'm paraphrasing this, is a little slightly different. You want to be wealthy, have money, do whatever that. Just find out what wealthy people do and do those things. Find out what poor people do and don't do those things. Well, you can apply that same logic to what do healthy people do? Do those things. What do people in poor health do? Don't do those things. That's pretty common. And again, awareness, education, that's what we're here for. The action is knowing what works for another person may work for you, may not work for you. So you have to know that, okay, I took some melatonin, but I'm not going to sleep. Well, if I only took a half a gram, was that really enough for me, for my metabolism, for everything that's going on in my life? Maybe I need 3 grams. I don't know. But that's something you could talk to your pharmacist about. But just don't experiment willy-nilly with things that you are not fully aware of. But we want to make sure that our subconscious mind is helping us, not hurting us. And so that's the whole purpose of trying to get ourselves pre-positioned mentally, mindset, so that when we enter 2024, we're able to make good decisions. So now we're actually getting into sleep and we have some time to do it. Good. Probably the absolute number one most important function in the body, by far, no matter what. I mean, you have breathing and eating, but if you want to have good health, all those breathing and eating and all the rest of that stuff, yeah, those things are important. But if you want to have the health that you want, it has to start with your sleep. Sleep is when the body does its repairs. It removes toxic waste from our brains, from our metabolism. The body goes through a lot of different things, all different organs. That sleep is what turns on the switch and says, go take care of all that stuff. And the body does. So anything that supports our brain function for improvement, and sleep does greatly, we need to be looking at those things. So our quality of sleep is absolutely important for our future health. During our sleep, the process of neurodevelopment, getting our nerves developed and matured, the plasticity of being able to take damaged part of the brain and fix it, building up our immune system, all sorts of aspects of our sleep address those issues. And it's generally speaking, the first few hours of our sleep, that's where our brain activity is the highest. We're rewiring things, we're storing information, we're repairing a lot of things in the body. Aspects of our body and our systems are being rejuvenated. And if we have things that are not repaired, then it's going to be an impediment to our cognition, our ability to think clearly. So from a mental health perspective, if I'm not getting good sleep, then I'm starting to affect my ability to make good decisions. Sleep restores our behavior, the ability to judge things properly, It reboots our central nervous system. Lots and lots of things happen, and we're not aware of it. We do a lot of things to sabotage ourselves too. If I have inadequate sleep, my ability to remember things, my ability to learn are degraded. Now, what's inadequate sleep? Well, if you're not getting a good, if they take 6 to 8 to 9 hours sleep in a 24-hour period, that's probably inadequate. One night, probably not a big deal. A week's worth, probably a big deal. A month's worth, absolutely a big deal. Now, inadequate sleep, you might ask the question, what's the record for not sleeping? Well, it turns out that somebody did set it intentionally. It's 264 hours. And back in college, when I was working, going to school just before the Christmas break, I was working at the post office at night unloading trucks. I would leave school, go to PPG Chemical Division. I would work in the lab or outside in the plant. And so I'd leave there, go to the post office, come home, take a shower, jump in the car, and drive 38 miles to school. I managed to stay awake 166 hours straight. I didn't realize it at the time because one day led into another, into another. And yeah, there were times that I was driving. I get to school, I'm sitting in class. I said, I wonder where I parked my car. I don't even remember going through that town. It really has an effect on you, your ability to function. We do have things that help us. Melatonin is a great supplement that helps reset our bodies, but you got to take it 3 or 4 hours in advance. So if you're going to go to bed at 9 or 10 o'clock at night, then around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you probably ought to be supplementing your body with melatonin. Adrenal health, hormonal health, the circadian rhythm, all those things have an effect on how and when we go to sleep. Now, if I sleep a nice long time, 10, 12 hours, whatever, listen to your body. Maybe you really need it. But naps are kind of a funny thing. I can take a 7 or 8 hour nap easily. I do quite often, 2 or 3, 4 times a week. I'll just go and lay down. I'll set my alarm for 11 minutes, and most of the time I'm up in about 8 minutes. All I want to do is just fully relax, allow everything to just kind of seep out of me. And then all of a sudden, bing, 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 my brain wakes up and I get up and my alarm hasn't even gone off. But I take a nap for a longer period of time, 15, 20 minutes. It's just about at the point where it will interrupt your ability to go to sleep later. But if you're going to take a long nap, an hour and a half, 90 minutes is a normal sleep cycle. And so maybe you set the alarm for 90 minutes and hope that it doesn't interfere with your overall sleep later on that evening. Most of the time, those 90-minute segments are not enough to offset the beginning of sleep at night, but they can. There's no magic pill out there. And please, sleep pills are not what you think they are. They put you to sleep, but the things that need to happen while you're asleep are not necessarily working the way they should. So the quality of your sleep and the consistency of your sleep are very, very critical. What's the longest somebody has been sleeping? Longest, again, the record is 8 days. But I'm not talking about somebody being induced into a coma. I'm talking about somebody that was tested in a laboratory on sleep and was wired and everything else. Sometimes you can be very tired and you can't sleep. Could be a circadian rhythm issue. Could be eating late at night. A lot of us may do that. I'm here with Christmas parties lately. I go someplace and it's 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. I normally eat around between 3 and 5 in the afternoon. That's my one meal a day. That's when I may have something after 6, but it's just a very light something or other. But I don't have a major meal at 7:30 at night. That's just not my lifestyle. But eating late at night, if your culture says that, we're going to have a siesta in the afternoon and we're going to be eating at 10 p.m., that's the culture. That's what that is. I'm not trying to fix everybody. But if you're eating late at night and that's not normal for you and you can't go to sleep, it may be that the digestive system that you have is keeping you awake. Stress, that's usually the first clue. When you're laying there going to sleep and the same thought keeps coming back through your mind, and it may be a relationship, it may be money, it may be a boss. It doesn't matter what it is. That's a clue. There's something stressing you out. And if you have those constant thoughts, then that's where your stress management ought to be focused on those. Now, a lot of times that we wake up, what was I even thinking about? I had a great dream or I had a terrible, we can't remember. Drinking late at night is another one. Alcohol will shut down your digestive system completely. Boom, it's off. So now your liver has to process that alcohol. So let's say you had a couple, 3, 4 glasses of wine, a couple extra beers after dinner. Yeah, you feel good, you're sleepy, you go and you lay down, boom, you're asleep. But your body is processing the alcohol. All of a sudden, it's 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, boom, you're wide awake because the body has now switched from getting rid of alcohol to now digesting food that's been on hold. And some people can right back to sleep again, and some people can't. So, but again, if you're going to be drinking, drink early and allow that to process out of the body before you go to sleep. But if it's a problem with your sleep, it might be something you can, yeah, I might be able to fix that and address that issue. Again, tired and you can't sleep, it might be the drugs you're taking, whether they're prescription or over the counter. They're going to tell you in the small writing on the back, may cause insomnia, may have other issues. If you're really and truly concerned, talk to your pharmacist. They're probably the best people in the world because they have had so much training in those things that, and people come and talk to them all the time about it. I mean, I joke with, I rarely take medicine, but when I get something from the pharmacist, I generally ask the clerk there, I says, can I drink and drive with this medicine? And I'm going to tell you 9 times out of 10, they're going to look me right straight in the eye and say yes. And then I'll have somebody, let me go ask the pharmacist. They're not listening. They're not hearing the word drink and drive. They're hearing, can I take this medicine and drive? And I occasionally find a jokester pharmacist that will come out and chat and we have a good time about it. But anyway, drugs of any sort can be a problem. Caffeine, depression, if you're on a diet, snoring, you or someone else, lots of things interfere with our sleep, especially if we're really tired and we can't get to sleep. That little snoring, that something that's bothering me is going to make an issue. We may have insomnia as a normal problem. It's a medical problem. It can be brought on by sleep apnea, major, major, major problem, major health issue. If you have sleep apnea, absolutely you must see a doctor because that is life threatening. You may not want to sleep with an appliance on your face, but if you want to be awake tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day, probably need to get that checked. A lot of times it may be induced by being overweight. A lot of doctors tell you what's going on. Asthma, there are a lot of things that can medically create a problem with insomnia. Restless leg syndrome, many causes. I find periodically that all of a sudden I'm almost asleep and then my leg shifts. My leg just kind of, and I'll usually I have enough potassium in my body, but I find for me, if I take 1 or 2 potassium pills, boom, restless leg is gone. It's so. If I know that I've been working outside in the yard a lot, sweating a lot, I'll take a couple extra potassium pills before I go to bed because I know that that work and sweating equates to I may have a restless leg problem tonight. It is what it is. But again, awareness and education. We might have some short-term issues with drowsiness, irritability. So if our sleep is not there, other people are going to take the brunt of it. Our motor skills are going to be poor. Our ability to drive, our ability to think, to do things, especially any kind of repetitive stuff, attention problems. A clue, yawning, things that you could easily do, you don't have the motivation to do it. Changes in mood, lots of things there. Sleep deprivation, again, these are brought on by life. It may be you have a new child, requires a lot of nighttime attention. It could be a new job, shift job, military, you're gone for long periods of time. Short term, it's not a major problem. If it exists for more than 2 weeks, yeah, probably have a major problem. Resting and sleeping. Resting is good, but it doesn't give you the benefits of sleep. Sleep is what actually repairs the body. Resting is good, but it's not as good as sleep. Our sleep schedule is important. Consistency, the quality of it, very, very critical. Our daytime activities, our medication, naps, alcohol, caffeine. All of these things are major aspects of our ability to sleep. Again, avoid large meals and a lot of drinking late at night. And a lot of TVs are phones, a lot of blue light. So with those with long COVID, a lot of issues that COVID has a problem there. So many post-pandemic problems are also exhibited as insomnia. You're sleepy as can be during the daytime, but you can't sleep at night, or you wake up several times at night. Lots of things there. So, and I'm going to conclude with this particular one because I'm looking at my time. Be aware of the side effects of drug, brain changes from COVID. There are issues up there from a neurovascular coupling disruption that something happened during that COVID that created a problem. You have dysfunction in your autonomic nervous system, inflammatory responses, lots of things that are created a problem because of not being able to get your sleep. And with that, I'm going to say, if you have a problem, please seek professional help. Check out non-prescription options first and learn to control your sleep in 2024. And with that, I am going to conclude with just saying, have a great 2023, the remainder of it, and I will catch you all on the flip side in 2024. Bye, y'all.
This program is brought to you in part by the British School of Excellence and founder, Mr. Philip Sykes, building confidence, changing lives. Do you share our view that etiquette is a set of modern life skills that are essential for personal and professional success? Join us as an etiquette coach and change people's lives through the power of etiquette and manners.
The last few days have been really amazing. I had a trainer course from the British School of Etiquette.
And I must say it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made and one of the best investments I've made in my own training and development.
Now, words alone will not describe the transformation and the positive path that I have traveled with the British School of Etiquette.
I found I learned a lot from the lessons this time I came.
The last few days with the British School of Etiquette have been fantastic.
And what I've learned now is really beyond my expectations.
This is the most rewarding experience and the best investment I have made this year.
It was just great. I learned so much, and when I go back to Belgium I will incorporate a lot of it into my day-to-day life and business.
It's been absolutely wonderful for the whole week that we were here.
I feel transformed, and I feel like blowing a trumpet and tell people, come and do this school, this class is the best, this is the best school ever.
You should take it. It will change your life immediately.
I am now able to teach other people how to bring the best of them.
Thank you.
Thank you, BSC.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you to our clients for their testimonials on the Train the Trainer program. Our exponential and global growth is so significant that we've evolved from the British School of Etiquette to the British School of Excellence, where we're investors in people. Let us invest in you and your career. Contact us to become an etiquette coach. Go to thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. Start your career and elevate your success today.
Hello everyone, hello and welcome. My name is Roland Friedl, and maybe as you can recognize from my accent, I'm Austrian, so it's a small country in the middle of Europe, in the heart of Europe. And yeah, I'm 59 years old. I'm a father and a grandfather. And from my business background, after my very short but very successful corporate career, I was the youngest member of board of director in a huge business, in a huge company. I started my own businesses in different areas, in different industries, and I got a lot of experience, what is working, what is not working. And about 2.5 decades ago, I started a training, coaching, consulting company, Spartan Performance Systems, where I did and still do train and consult international huge businesses worldwide like Xerox and other big players in the world. So we do a lot of sales trainings and management trainings with my team in different languages. That's my main background in business. Besides that, I'm very engaged in men's work and also in the environment. That's my background, make it short. So to be honest, I'm very curious about what's going on in the world. I love to learn. I love to travel. So my huge passion is traveling. Right now, as you can see the background, I'm sitting in my motorhome. So after 14 years living on a beautiful island, I decided to move into my motorhome and travel Europe and live and work from my motorhome. So, and I got engaged to USA Global TV and Radio actually a year and around 9-10 months ago. A very good friend of mine, he contacted me and asked me if he can invite me for an interview in USA Global TV and Radio. I guess the show was called The Journey of My Life. And to be honest, in the beginning I said no, because I had very bad experience on interviews in my business careers. I did it twice for a TV channel in Austria. And then they cut it and edited it, and at the end, my comment was totally different than to the reality I said. So I said in the beginning, no, but I trusted this guy, so they said, okay, let's do it. He told me I don't have to fly to the US, I can do it from my home. That was, at the time, this was his island in Mallorca. So, and it was an amazing, and a beautiful conversation. And then Dr. Jacqueline contacted me and asked me if I'm interested in becoming a co-moderator of a show. And so we started the Mallorca Connection, which is a weekly show on Monday, the Mallorca Connection. I got more and more involved. I became an elevated listener because I strongly believe it's important to listen first before you talk. And I had the chance to host and moderate and design my own shows like the Earth Show in the past, the Men shows. I became a talking head, an expert on business topics. So I hosted, moderated, I guess about more than 100, maybe 200, I don't know, idea, shows on USA Global TV and Radio, and I still do. And finally, we started the It's Your Healthy Lifestyle, a very good show, and we bring a new one on about the planet Earth. Yeah, that's a little bit what I'm doing here on USA Global TV and Radio. So why I'm doing this? First of all, I really love new medias. I love the platform. I love the work that this Dr. Jacqueline is doing to educate people. It's all about sharing, caring, and connecting and networking. And the benefit I got out of this in my personal experience, I learned a lot about myself, to be honest. I learned a lot about my strengths in moderating, in hosting, in talking live in front of a video camera. I learned a lot of myself, where my strengths, where my weak points that I have to improve. I met a lot of new interesting people. Some of them became friends of mine. Actually, after all, it's a hell of work, to be sure. Yes, it is, to be prepared, to invite people for the shows, to find new topics, to do research on the facts. But I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about the industry, the media industry. I learned a lot about broadcasting, videos, interviewing. And as I said, I met interesting people, a lot of interesting people, and also made new friends where I'm very happy for that. So yeah, USA Global TV and Radio, it's the platform to connect. It's about sharing and caring. And for me, USA Global TV and Radio is a huge family, and I'm very thankful and grateful for this experience. And yeah, and I guess the best is yet to come. Thanks a lot from Roland from Austria. Thank you. Bye.
This program has been brought to you in part by Zane Carson Carruth, etiquette and protocol expert, international award-winning author, television show host, and philanthropist. Thank you to Zane, our official diamond sponsor for USA Global TV and Radio in partnership with E360 TV. Zane is the author of The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever, as well as many other children's books. She's also the television host of Elegance, Polished Demeanor, and Posh Living, seen on USA Global TV and Radio.
Hi, my name is Zane Carson Caruth, and I'm the author of this book, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever.
Reading is magic. Studies have shown that reading to your children lays the foundation for greater success in life. Reading helps develop language and vocabulary skills. It helps improve memory, and it encourages curiosity and inspires creativity. The benefits are immeasurable, and as a parent, you'll benefit too. In only 10 or 15 minutes a day, you'll be creating warm memories and a bonding experience that will last for years to come. So take time to read to your children. Read them books about things that engage and interest them. Tales of fairies and magic fascinate children, and as everyone knows, the Tooth Fairy is at the top of the list. If your child loves magic, wands, adventure, and what child doesn't, you'll love reading them books from the trademarked series The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever. Follow along as Abella, the world's first tooth fairy, accidentally starts the tooth fairy tradition. Learn the tricks of being a professional tooth fairy in the book Abella Starts a Tooth Fairy School. Your child's imagination will soar as you read the adventures of Abella and her magic wand. These wonderful books are available at worldsfirsttoothfairy.com and at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart.
To learn more about Zane, contact her through her website, zanecaruth.com, ZANECARRUTH.com. Order Zane's books and merchandise. Contact her about being a keynote speaker at your next event.